Stargazing for a first date is nice, Todoroki thought as he relaxed on the bench beside you. The silence of the empty park pressed against his ears, giving him a sense of calmness. Yet while the silence enclosed him in serenity, his heartbeat was erratic. He was only a few inches away from you, close enough to touch if he willed it. He turned his head towards you, lips forming into a small smile as he watched you revel in the beauty of the star-speckled sky above. There was a warm smile present on your lips as your eyes looked at the stars. Looking closely, he saw your eyes reflect the starlight, making them shine. "You're staring, Todoroki." He felt his cheeks burn lightly as he averted his gaze from you to the ground below. Todoroki didn't know how long he had been staring at you, but he knew it had been long enough to make you catch his attention. Still, he couldn't help but look at you and admire how beautiful you looked under the starlight, or how beautiful you looked every day. He stole a glance again when he saw your gaze return to the sky from his peripherals. The moment he did, however, he met them again. You gave him a lopsided smile. "Stealing glances?" you teased. He felt the rush of heat once more in his cheeks. You giggled at his bashfulness and the smile on your lips widened. You caught his eyes flit to your lips as you did. He stared for a little too long on them, you noticed. "Todoroki?" you whispered in a low voice. His lips parted as he closed in the distance between the both of you. He stopped a hair's breadth away, taking in your reddened cheeks and your surprised eyes. "May I kiss you?" he asked, his breath warm against your lips. You smiled before he lowered his lips onto yours. At first he just brushed them before he pressed into you, soft and gentle. Both of you were hesitant to deepen it, but his hand reached for yours, interlacing your fingers with his. He wondered if you could feel his lips trembling. You wondered if he could feel your heart racing. Todoroki slowly pulled away, facing away from you to hide the embarrassment that refused to leave. You did the same with a small smile pulling at your lips. His hand squeezed yours gently. The two of you looked at each other at the same time, and your cheeks felt like they brightened. He brought your hand to his lips and pressed a soft kiss onto your knuckles. "Not bad for a first kiss," he spoke, smiling softly at you. It was only a few streets away from your home. You stared at your feet as you walked, seeing if you could possibly slow down your pace to prolong the night. You didn't want to go home. Not now. You looked up to see Bakugo a few paces ahead of you. His hands were shoved in his pockets as he walked briskly down the road. He was strangely silent. Bakugo had offered to walk you home after your date, because that's probably what boyfriends do. You agreed, thinking he would hold your hand along the way, how boyfriends did. What you didn't expect, however, was him walking ahead of you and not bothering to wait for you to catch up. It was only a few streets away from your house, and he was still out of your reach. Your pace slowed to a stop. You heard Bakugo's footsteps fade into silence, and saw him turn around slowly, proceeding to stare at you from a distance. One of his eyebrows arched up in confusion. "What?" he said as he walked over to you and crossed his arms. You felt yourself shake when you saw him glare. You stammered, not finding the right words to say. "Speak up," he growled impatiently. Can I hold your hand?" you stuttered again. You averted your gaze from him, afraid to see his expression. You heard him sigh and take hold of your hand without another word. You felt a wave of embarrassment hit you at the contact of his fingers, reveling in its warmth and, oddly, its gentleness. You wondered how someone so rough could have soft hands. You looked up at him and saw that he covered part of his face, looking away from you. Did he feel the same way? The two of you continued walking, but you didn't notice him matching his pace with yours. You heard him mutter softly,
"If you wanted to hold my hand, you should have said something."
You held back a giggle and squeezed his hand gently. Your house came into view a few minutes later, and your heart dropped. Both of you stopped at the front gate, yet his hand didn't leave yours. You turned to him and gazed into his eyes with a warm smile. "Thanks for today, Bakugo." You spoke. He replied with a low hum, and his expression softened. You felt him loosen his grip from your hand, the familiar warmth now fading away.
"Good night,"
he spoke, barely audible as he averted his gaze from you. The both of you didn't move from your spot for a few minutes in silence. As you parted your lips to say something, Bakugo's voice pierced through the air.
"Let me kiss you before you go,"
he said with a soft voice you weren't used to.
"Because that's what boyfriends do."
You felt his warm hand on your cheeks, tilting your head up to meet his eyes. They were soft, in contrast to the hard glare that you were used to. Bakugo's lips lowered slowly onto yours. They hovered only mere inches from your parted lips, almost hesitant, before brushing against them. A soft kiss followed, pressing into you. He pulled away after a few moments, then planted another. It was intoxicating. He was hesitant to pull away a second time as he broke the kiss. He averted his gaze from yours and reached for your hand to hold.
"I want to kiss you again,"
he announced suddenly. All of his classmates were probably asleep, he thought. Shinso had tried sleeping earlier, however, he found himself tossing and turning in his futon that he had no choice but to get up and exit the room for a breath of fresh air. He had chanced upon a window down the hallway and decided to stay there for a little while until he would find himself sleepy. A sigh escaped his lips as he leaned against the windowsill, looking at the view ahead. He breathed deeply. The silence pressed into his ears in a way he found comforting. He was in the middle of wondering why he couldn't sleep when the silence broke. "Still awake?" Shinso turned towards the voice to find you. Even in the darkness of the hallway, he recognized your bright eyes and your warm smile. Shinso tensed when you moved towards him and positioned yourself beside him by the windowsill, leaning against it as he did. His breath hitched as your arm brushed against his. "What's the reason this time?" you asked him with a burning curiosity.
"I don't know,"
he spoke, attempting to sound convincing. You looked at him, perplexed by his answer. "Come on, I'm sure there is one," you playfully teased, nudging his arm in a coaxing way. He remained silent as he pondered on your question. Why can't he sleep? He turned to you and felt warmth, an almost euphoric feeling. Why can't he sleep? You placed a hand on his arm and he felt a spark of electricity surge through him. Why can't he sleep? Thoughts rushed through his head almost immediately, random ones that possibly couldn't help answer the question, but he thought of them anyway.
"You're always there for me. You're my first friend. You never thought of me as a villain regardless of my quirk. You believed I can be a hero. You."
His thoughts sank into him all at once until it clicked in his mind. The answer hit him so suddenly that he didn't realize.
"I couldn't sleep because of you."
Shinso paled the moment the words fell from his lips. He saw your eyes widened, while your lips parted with no words to respond.
Sorry. Wait.
I couldn't sleep because of you either. Shinso's cheeks warmed before he turned away from you to look out the window in an attempt to hide his embarrassment. There was silence for a while and tension hung in the air. Words formed in Shinso's mind, aching to be said. He breathed deeply, mustering the courage to say them that danced on the tip of his tongue. His heartbeat was erratic when he finally made the decision to turn to you again.
I think I'm in love with you.
Your breath hitched in your throat as your cheeks burned, feeling what felt like a brighter glow upon them. You felt yourself at a loss of words as you averted your gaze from his. Your heartbeat felt loud inside your chest and thrummed in your ears. You wondered if he could hear it. You swallowed before you met his lavender eyes again and melted into this gaze. A smile tugged at your lips. Shinso felt your arms wrap around him in a warm embrace. His arms moved almost awkwardly, encircling you to return it. You held each other for a few moments, encasing yourselves in each other's warmth before he loosened his grip on you. In a low whisper, he asked,
Can I kiss you?
You nodded slowly with a smile. He moved in close, stopping only breaths away from your lips before he closed the distance. His chapped lips brushed against yours before he pressed a kiss against them. It was gentle, but it felt like you melted into them. His arms encircled your waist loosely while you reached to touch his hair. You felt him smile against your lips before he pulled away.
I love you.